Okay, this video is Lifeline screening a joke? So this company, Lifeline, they sent me something in the mail. Would I like to be screened? And they screen for these 5 things: carotid artery disease, atherosclerosis, peripheral artery disease, atherosclerosis, abdominal aorta aneurysm, AAA, and for renal AAA, and for atrial fibrillation. They also screen for osteoporosis. So, I mean, the first 3 things are all really kind of a joke. They're all the same thing. Atherosclerosis. The risk factors for atherosclerosis and for aneurysm are basically the same thing. You can get atherosclerosis in the vasovasorum, the outer wall of the aorta, and that can damage the wall and then lead it to become weak and then have it expand in diameter. I've done a lot of abdominal aortic screening, and basically, you don't often see something too much. And what I'm kind of getting at here is AFib also is primarily due to ischemia, lack of blood flow, and it could be both macro and micro circulation of the heart. But anyways, what's the point? It's all the same thing, atherosclerosis. What's the gateway path to atherosclerosis? Obesity, hypertension, diabetes. And what causes that? High-fat diets, high-sodium diets, high-fructose corn syrup. Okay, so what I'm saying is there's actually some things about this that are reasonable. The average person who's clueless, this might be a wake-up call that they need to get their act together. $150 is not that much money. If you get screened for one of these guys, like a AAA, they'll often call it, let's say, an aneurysm at 3 centimeters in diameter, but they'll call it ectasia, mild dilation, at between 2 to 3 centimeters. So the patient could be stuck for tons and tons of follow-ups. And again, first time around is cheap. The follow-ups might be expensive. Plus, then you got anxiety and worry. What I'm getting at is, instead of screening for atherosclerosis, which you automatically have if you've got the SAD diet, they ought to screen for dietary stupidity and just teach the people what's the best thing to eat, because that's what will protect you from all this stuff. Okay, what are you going to do with carotid endarterectomy and with carotid atherosclerosis? It's going to put you on a statin, or they're going to recommend you for stenting or for surgery. That's a big deal. Osteoporosis is caused pretty much by the same thing: the high animal food diet, the high animal protein. The sulfur-containing amino acids, methionine and cysteine, are present in increased amounts in meat. So anyways, what they really ought to do is screen people for dietary ignorance, because that's curable and that makes a dramatic difference in your health. Whereas this stuff, it's okay. And I'll tell you, there's actually something else that I think is good about this. All the screening is done with ultrasound. You use an ultrasound also for ABI, ankle brachial index. Use that for aortic aneurysm. They use an EKG for the heart, and they do some shin bone. I'm not familiar with using an ultrasound to measure density of bone. That's a new one for me. But anyways, what I'm saying is the smart move is just eat the low-fat, low-sodium vegan diet with no oils. That's the way you minimize your risk of all this stuff. And that's what I do. I would just optimize my diet and my sleep, my exercise, and then I don't need to ever screen for the stupid stuff. The smart move is make yourself healthy so you can avoid the medical system. Anyways, what I meant was good about ultrasound before I let this one go is that at least with ultrasound, you don't get too many false positives. You don't get that many incidentalomas. Screening with CT scan is very dangerous. Like, let's say a patient goes for lung cancer screening. They tons and tons of time. You can expect them to find a whole bunch of incidentalomas, meaning false positives that are going to require a lot of follow-up. Too small to characterize lesion in the liver, an adrenal gland nodule, a kidney lesion, et cetera, a spleen lesion, a lung peripheral micronodule. So anyways, I've been involved in screening for over 30 years, and I would never screen myself for anything. Except blood tests. I want to know my total cholesterol. I want to know my blood pressure. So anyways, there it is.